Today we have another day of quarantine cooking. I want to prepare today a pork loin, which is I got from D'Artagnan. It's a nice Berkshire pork loin. We're going to stuff this with some apples, pine nuts, and some dates, which are going to make a little stuffing in a minute. I have my meal pot vegetables, which is carrots, onions. I have a little bit of leeks left and some celery. We also need some tomato paste. I have a little red wine for braising, and then also some salt and pepper. Those are pretty much the main ingredients we're going to need for this dish. And what we're going to do is actually we're going to stuff the pork loin. We're going to put it in the oven with the vegetables and some of the tomato paste. Once we have a roast on it, we're adding some stock to it, and we're going to pull the sauce straight off that pork loin. So since we don't have any veal stock or any veal shoe at this point, I'm going to show you how to make a sauce with all this whole dish that is going on. Okay, so we're going to start with the pork loin. So now we're going to take the pork. In order to stuff this, what I'm going to do is actually, there's two ways we can do it. We can either split it in half, open it up this way, but then I have to tie it. Since I don't have any string, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to use a fairly long chef's knife, not too wide, only like about 1.5 inch. I'm going to put the pork loin tight together, as you can see. Normally you see how it's this long. I put it tight together. I'm going to push the knife through the middle of the loin. What you want to do is you want to push the knife just through like this. Just be careful. Go straight in, go all around, and I'll cut it like a little pocket there. Okay. So there, this way. I'm going to go the other way around. And if I did a good job, what's going to happen is I'm going to hit the cut pocket on the other side, you know. So what you want to do is you want to cut a little bit through, which I think I was right there. Yep. Now I'm going to go in with my hands a little bit, open this pocket up. You want to give yourself enough, you want to cut enough of a hole in there that when we put the stuffing in there, so it stays in there. What's happening if it's too tight, once we roast the meat later on, the meat gonna tighten up and gonna push the stuffing out on the side. If the pocket is big enough, it will still tighten up a little bit, but it gives the stuffing more of an opportunity to actually stay inside. You know, if you do have string, what you can do is you can tie it up on each side a little bit, so the stuffing doesn't ooze out once we roast it. Because once you start roasting, the meat shrinks a little bit, tightens up, and it pushes the stuffing out. So we'll simmer the stuffing for a while. As you can see, the red wine is kind of reduced down, or is absorbed by the nuts and by the dates. The apples nicely broke down. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take this out. I'm going to let it cool, and then I will be I'll let it cool, and then I will be setting up the pork later on. Okay, I'll stuff the pork later on. Okay, there you go. This shouldn't be too long. Beautiful. Done. So what I'm going to do now, I got the stuffing, which basically was a 1.5 cup of each. 1.5 cup of apple, 1/2 cup of pine nuts, and 1.5 cup of the dates. Okay, like I said, you can substitute however you like it, however you want it, or without nuts, or just dried fruit only, however you want to do this. So the pork is basically ready to go. What I do want to do quickly is I want to score the fat a little bit. There's a little bit of fat cap on the pork, so I'm going to just give it a light score with my knife. As you can see, I do it like in a 45 angle. I do it like every 1/2 inch. Cut it over, and I only do the meat. I'm not going to I only do the fat, not the meat. That's what I meant to say. Just so that renders nicely, so it doesn't just like a fat lump over it. So I'm going to take these ingredients now, and I'm going to stuff this in the pork. Now this could be a little bit challenging. If you have a pastry bag, and a disposable pastry bag, you could use that as well, which unfortunately I don't have here right now. Or you can just go ahead and stuff the pork just like that. You know what I mean? Then go in and just kind of push it through. I'm going to push, I have 2 containers of this. So I'm going to push each, I go halfway through the pork and put the stuffing in there. So hopefully I'll be able to evenly stuff it. And when we cut it later on, once it's cooked, you got that nice eye. You got the meat, and then inside you have the stuffing there, okay? There you go. That was the one end. it looks. I'm going to go on the other side. Open it up a little bit so you have an easier time to push this in. Like I say, if you have a pastry bag, you would just kind of stick the pastry bag all the way through and to fill the stuffing like that. But it does work this way as well. It's not impossible to do. I can feel I didn't get much into the center there, so. Okay, let's see if you can decide on this side. Good. This is it. It's pretty good. And then you have a little falling out there. Got to push that back in. Okay. So now what we're going to do now is I'm going to set it up on a little sheet pan for my oven. I have these ovens, these mouth thingies there, they have a little deeper rim. And I'm going to take the vegetables, which is like a mirpa, we call that. Carrots, onions, celery, and a little bit of leeks. Going to add that into it. Give it a little bit of oil. Okay. Give it a little bit of oil. And then I'll set the pork loin. We're going to season this guy up quickly. So I'm going to give him some pepper, some salt, flip him around. All right, we'll set him on the hotel pan. There you go. Oil. Use a little bit extra virgin olive oil for this. And there you go. All right. So one of the things we're going to do as well, right from the beginning, we're going to add a little bit of tomato paste into this. And make like little dollops all around. They're going to start browning as we roast this pork. Okay. And as they brown, at some point I add some more red wine to the hotel pan on the bottom. And that should work out well. This was about a cup or something of tomato paste. It's going to be a roast for 6 people. It's about a 4.5 pound roast. Loin only, so I don't have any bones. If you have a rack for 6 people, I would go something more like 5.5 pounds potentially. I'm going to put this in the oven at around 350 degrees. Convection oven roast until it has color. And then I'm gonna, once it has color, I add some of the red wine to it and bring the temperature down to like 300. Giving the roast some color and then lower temperature is going to help you to keep the pork more tender. If you roast pork too hot, it gets sometimes a lot of time tights up and it gets a little bit dry. So we're looking to cook this on 350 until there's color. We go down to 300. Deglaze it with red wine and then finishing up. We're going to try to hit it at about 148, 150 degrees. As we all know, pork we're supposed to cook until 155. Since I have the stuffing inside and the carryover, we'll push it up to 155 and it should be ready to go, where the pork is nice and juicy but not dry. Okay, so now we're going to go with it in the oven. Okay, so now we have the pork here. It's been in the oven for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees. It started lightly browning. I have the tomato paste in here, as you can see, started browning as well. We're going to mix that up a little bit on each side. And this is the time when I add in the red wine onto it. So mix it up on each side. I now put the red wine really over the meat because it's just going to give another very nice color on top of it. So I mix this up well. Okay, so you can see I've tried to dissolve the tomato paste a little bit. Mix it in with the vegetables. There we go. And I'm gonna go straight back in the oven. The roast is still raw or rare inside, so now we're gonna bring that back in. Okay, so now the pork has been, the tomato paste has been, the red line has been reducing. You can see that. All right, there you go. And so what I add now to it, you can either use a little bit of water, or I got some chicken stock, or chicken broth, or beef broth, or even something like this. And this will at the end make our sauce. Mix this up fairly generously. And this is the reason why I took a little bit of deeper pan, so I can actually add some stuff to it versus like a shallow sheet pan. There we go. Then I do the same thing as I did earlier on. I kind of like try to dissolve the tomato paste a little bit. Okay, this is that. I'm going to go straight back in the oven, give it another 10-15 minutes, and I think the roast is pretty much ready by then. So, got the pork over here. The pork is ready to roll. It's got a nice color on it. Should be really nice. This is the moment of truth if we did a good job stuffing it. So I'm just going to cut it down the middle for now. Josie, please, go away. Sorry, that's the dog. She's always very hungry in our house. Pork looks pretty good. It's not centered, but you can see you have a really nice amount of stuffing in there, which that's really what you want. Centering is tough at that point, but it's all good. So we're gonna, I know it's gonna be tender, and we're gonna cut like two thicker slices per. We're gonna line it nicely up with our lovely mashed potatoes and some nice vegetables there. So now we can either sauce this right over, or we just kind of give it a little bit more of a presentation. There you go. What I always like to do is I try to put a little bit sauce in the back where you really don't see it, but you still have enough sauce on the plate. And that'll be Berkshire pork loin stuffed with dates, pine nuts, and apples, roasted, and we have a natural sugar with that, some mashed potatoes, and some quarantine vegetables, which is carrots, leeks, and beets. Mahlzeit.